Welcome back to Business RadioX Pro Tip. Payton and Lee Kantor here with you. You know, a lot of people in my community, Lee, are surprised when they're asking me about podcasting, and I tell them, you know, I don't run out of questions, but I also don't run out of guests, and they're really surprised that we have a consistent flow of guests. What tips, if any, do you have on finding good guests for your next podcast?
Yeah, that is one of the areas where we do not have to worry about. And it's funny because when you hear so many people, one of their big obstacles they put in front of themselves is this fear of not getting guests. So if I was, plopped into this world and I had never done this before, these are 5 places I would look for if I was looking for guests for a brand new show and I had no network or I had no experience doing this before. So the first place I would look is my personal network. I would ask people I already know and people who know me, and I would start with them. That's the first place I would go. And then the second place I would go is I'd go on LinkedIn and see if I can kind of dig a little deeper. And then I would start asking my LinkedIn connections to be a guest or if they knew of any guests. Thirdly, I would lean on my professional business associations, and I'd start with some of the leadership from those associations, and I'd start asking them to be a guest and or some of the members of the association to be guests. Another place to look is through other kind of social media platforms or podcast platforms. Look for guests who have appeared on other podcasts that are in your industry. So if they've been a guest on one show, there's a high probability they'll be open to being a guest on your show. And then finally, the last place I would look for guests, which is really the most obvious place, is all the previous guests. I would ask them for referrals for my next guest. So those are 5 places that I would go to look for guests.